as a Xbox Gold subscriber and as a Amazon subscriber, I've gotten a lot of King of Fighters games lately. So yeah, you could say I'm interested in the King of Fighters series now. I grew up in the southern United States, okay? And so because of that, we only got arcade machines that were really popular and were going to do well. So over the course of my lifetime, I have seen maybe 3 Neo Geo arcade setups. Maybe. Over the course of my entire lifetime. And only one of those was when I was a kid. So the Neo Geo stuff was not anything I was familiar with. Nobody had the Neo Geo console when I was a kid. Everybody was either Sega or Nintendo, because in the United States, the Neo Geo machine was the most expensive machine out of all of them, and it didn't have very many games. So so my understanding is the King of Fighters series really took off in like South America, Brazil, Latin America, places like that, because they were having to import the machines. The Super Nintendo was going for like $250. The Neo Geo machine was like $400, $500, right? So, but if you're paying another $1,000 on top of that markup from importing the darn thing, the $400 or $500, the $200 or $300 difference is very minute in comparison. And I don't know that this is necessarily true. This is just my understanding of the situation. Point being, I've started getting interested in the King of Fighters series because it's almost like reliving my youth, but an alternate version of it in which these games existed in forms that I could play them. What does any of that have to do with this thing I have here? Okay, so this is technically a tier list of all the character trailers, which I have watched, but the thing I found most interesting about King of Fighters as compared to other fighting games is the fact that all the characters are part of teams. It's a team-based fighting game. The shattering of expectations for this game was mostly a lot of the teams. Some of it were some of the characters coming back, but a lot of it was the different teams that they had. So I'm going to rate the teams themselves, what I think of them in terms of how they work as a team, what I think of the characters in the team. Would this be a team that I play is probably the big one. So if I were to play this game, is this going to be a team that I would want to pick up? So we'll go ahead and start with the hero team. So the hero team is Shun'ei, Metenkun, I think that's right, and Benimaru. Which is interesting because this is Benimaru on a team that isn't Kyo's. That has happened before. That happened during the Nest saga, apparently. So, but Benimaru's usually associated with Kyo. But, nope, he's with these guys this time. And, yeah, aside from Benimaru, I'm not thrilled with this team. Shun'ei looks weird. Don't like him very much. Didn't like him in 14. Metenkun was in 14. I didn't like him in 14. Basically, Benimaru's replacing the old dude that was on their team originally. So, And Benimaru's a character I'm growing to like more. But, so I'll put them at C. They're okay. I probably would not end up playing them. So, in contrast, Isla, Dolores, and Haider. Now, Haider's been in the games before, so he's actually a returning character. Why he's on this team, I have no idea. But Isla and Dolores look really interesting, so they are definitely characters I would like to try out. Isla is like Shune but cooler and a girl. So that's basically what it boils down to. Dolores has some sort of weird sand thing going on. It's very similar to Kukri, but I don't know. She looks interesting, so that's the team I would probably try out as it is. Also, Kyo, Iori, Shizuru. So Kyo, Iori, and anybody would be a team I think a lot of people would end up picking just as default anyway. But Shizuru is kind of interesting. Putting Shizuru back on the team is kind of a good call. This is actually a direct reference to the Orochi saga, apparently. So, and I like Shizuru as a character. I'm not particularly good with her. Iori has been a character that I've been using for a while, so I would probably try this team out at some point. So they go up here in the A area, I think. They're definitely not S, because Iori I would probably stick in S because I know I'm going to try him at some point, but not with Kyo and Shizuru. So, Team Fatal Fury is Terry, Andy, and Joe. Pretty standard. And actually all three of those characters are characters that I've gotten okay with at some point. So, I don't know. I could probably make do with this team. So they could probably go on here. I mean, I'd probably end up trying all three of them at some point. As a team, that would probably make it easier for me to do it. Alright. Team Superheroines. Mai, Iori, Athena. So, the interesting thing is, I don't think Athena has ever... I'll have to double check, but I don't think Athena has ever actually been on the women fighters team before. And this is sort of the women fighters team, just with Athena slapped on the end of it, and King not on it. Because I live in a house of women. I know that if I play a character who has giant jubblies bouncing around everywhere, I'm going to get weird looks. So, I tend to steer clear of Mai whenever I can. If she is really good in the game, then I will pick her up. But most of the time, I'm not going to do that. Iori is a character I'm pretty good with, just because she's very similar to the other Shoto clones that we'll get to in a minute. Athena is really easy to use in most of the games. So, but she also has, in some of them, she also has the worst voice actress in the world. With CVS 2, that's what it was. CVS 2, she has this really shrill sounding voice, and it just drove me nuts. So I could not stand Athena. So I tend to remember that shrill, irritating voice whenever I see Athena and stay away from her, despite the fact that I know that she's an easy to use character. So, yeah, I don't hate them. I'm probably not going to use them as the team as they are currently. Ryo, Robert, and King. So, King has been on the Art of Fighting team before, but that was back when they had strikers as part of your team. So, this is the first time that she's on the team when there's only 3 members, if I'm remembering correctly. And I have actually tried this team in some of the King of Fighters games that I have, and I kind of like it. Because all 3 of them, the King's a little bit different, let's be fair. But, I mean, these 2 are basically Shotos. They're basically Ryu and Ken. And then she has a fireball, she has a tornado. She usually has something that you can use as an anti-air. So, even though the way you go about playing King is a little bit different from how you play Rio or Robert. You're basically playing Rio and Robert like you would play Ryu and Ken. So when you have these two plus Iori, you're basically Team Shoto in this game. So, but yeah. So yeah, this is probably going to be a team I end up playing at some point anyway. It'll probably be one of the first teams that I put together. That isn't, just pick and choose from here and there. So, Team Orochi, which is actually Krish, Shermie, and Yashiro. I respect what their importance to the story and the fact that their characters have just came back and all that. Shermie's really the only one that I had any interest in playing beforehand, and once they showed off how little clothing she was wearing, I decided, yeah, okay, probably not going to be able to play this character in this house. I might try them out at some point, so maybe they rank a little higher than Benny's or the Team Hero team. So maybe they rank slightly better because I'm interested in one of them. But only slightly, Team Ikari Warriors, if I remember correctly. It used to be Haider as the leader. Now it's Leona, which is his daughter. But anyway, this team has been around forever. And I like this team the way it is. It's just I'm never going to play them. I've tried playing Leona before, and I'm only okay with Leona. I am not very good with Ralph or Clark. So, despite the fact that I like them, as a team and all that, I think they're really cool. I like these characters. I would love to be able to play these characters. I can't play these characters. The next team is actually really interesting. So, the next team's Blue Mary, Luong, and Vanessa, which is Team Secret Agent. I don't know what they're secret agents of. Blue Mary has frequently been on teams with less than savory characters. Through no fault of her own, ended up associated with these characters. So I guess that's why she's part of Team Secret Agent, I guess. But anyway, Blue Mary is a character I was interested in well before I knew anything about King of Fighters. Just because, one, I'd heard the name, and then looking up things about Fatal Fury, you find out she's Terry's girlfriend / romantic interest type. So Blue Mary's a character I was interested in before anyway. Vanessa is a character I got more interested in after I saw the trailer, actually, because I got curious and was like, okay, so what is it about this character? Why is she here? And came to find out, well, okay, they had some pretty interesting ideas with this character. This, for instance, is your boxer character in this game. So her moves are Dudley-esque, but she's not big and bulky like Dudley is. So she moves a little bit faster. She has a longer range with a lot of her normals. So she's kind of interesting. Luong was introduced in 14 as a sort of love interest for Kim, I think. Kim's master, I guess it was. But they had a falling out. So now she's part of this secret agent team and recruited these other two people. So this is a really interesting team. Especially because, This could not be a Fatal Fury team. Because Vanessa shows up in the Nest Saga and King of Fighters. Luong is associated with Kim. No, okay, he was a Fatal Fury character. Okay, so this could almost be a Fatal Fury team. But Vanessa kind of messes that up. So, this is a team I might actually play. Just because I have played a little bit of Luong. She's interesting. She's very difficult to learn, but she's interesting. Blue Mary and Vanessa are characters that I've played before and have enjoyed playing before, so learn a new character and have two others that are fairly familiar. Yeah, it works. So, alright. Ramon, King of Dinosaurs, and Antonov. Spoilers, they're not going to move. I don't like this team. Not necessarily because this is a bad team, mind you. It's just, okay, Grappler, pseudo-Grappler. Yeah, no, sorry. Grapplers are not characters I gravitate toward. Once I get really good at a game, then I start experimenting with the Grapplers. It's not until I get really good at the game that I start picking up characters that have grappling moves. I think this team is kind of interesting. I think Ramon with King of Dinosaurs fits. Antonov being part of this wrestling team works. I don't have any problems with the team in and of itself. It's just I would never play them. Or if I did, I would play them after I have mastered basically every other character above them. K-Dash, Maxima, and Whip. I played 2000 against my better judgment. I played 2000, and I played 2002, and I have played a little bit of K-Dash in 14. So I know a little bit of K-Dash. I know a little bit of Whip. Maxima is kind of a grappler character, so that automatically knocks him down a little bit off the team, but after playing them in 2000, I'm not opposed necessarily to trying this team out. So, and I know for sure that even if I don't play this team as is, I'll probably use K-Dash or Whip at some point. Probably. Just to try them out. So, this team as it is, this is probably, Maxima is probably the closest I'm going to get to a grappler for a while. So we got two teams left. We got Cronin, Angel, and Kula. Blah. Or Angel, however they pronounce it. Anyway, so Cronin looks interesting. I know a little bit about the backstory of his character. The fact that he's probably K49s, but not really. And so that actually makes him a returning character, not a new one. But licensing issues means that, yeah, they can't use him. So, and then Angel is, I'm not sure what to think about her. She's just kind of, and Kula just does not seem like she fits with these two. I understand that they all sort of come from the same place, so that's probably why they're on a team together. But, I don't know. Kula just seems like, you know, a happy-go-lucky type of character. So, this is one where it's like, it's not Antonov bad. It's not, guess it's here. It just feels off. is what it is, and it's less to do with the characters themselves and more about the character, like the characters in the team. It's not necessarily the characters themselves that I think are bad. It's that I don't think the three characters together make that much sense. Okay, Team Ash. So Ash is a huge jerkwad. There are many words that you can use to describe Ash, and not very many of them are good. As a character. As a fighting style, he's actually very similar to Guile. In that he has a flash kick and he has basically a sonic boom. And because of that, well, I'll get back to that. Elizabeth is hard to put my finger on. She's really a no-nonsense character. And then on top of that, she has a fighting style that is very like utilitarian. Like she doesn't move unless she needs to move, type thing. And then Kukri is just kind of weird, and he has this weird thing going on, and he's apparently the big bad in the King of Fighters girls fighter, because he's basically a pervert. Spoilers. So, yeah. So this whole team has Icky written all over it. But Ash's playstyle from 13 is basically Guile. So because of that, he ends up here. I have come to learn that characters who play like Guile tend to be characters that I do well with. Mostly because I play Charlie a lot. Charlie plays like Guile. So at the end of the day, Ash Crimson ends up here just because it's Ash Crimson and because of his playstyle, not necessarily because I like him as a person. Make of that what you will. So that's my tier list as of right now, before playing the game like at all, just seeing what characters are available currently.